Carlos Valdemir and Lovemore in his last 2 fights. Tonight he gets 29-year-old. 10 years be a difference.
Well, first of all, the fact that this is for a belt is He's never fought at junior middleweight. They're contracted for below the junior middleweight limit. I like Canelo Alvarez a lot, but this is about as much of a championship fight as you and me putting on the gloves right now, and that being for some kind of a belt.
Up to the ring, and Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Honda Center, Anaheim, California, USA, Golden Boy Promotions, in association with Canelo Promotions and Hatton Promotions, are proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter, AT&T, Rethink Possible, DeWalt Tolls, Guaranteed Tough, Tres Generaciones, Triple Distilled Tequila. Sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Chairman John Frierson, Vice Chairman Dr. Christopher Giza, and Executive Director George Dodd. World Boxing Council President Jose Sullivan. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this bout: Raul Caiz Sr., Jack Reese, and Joel Scobie. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Dr. Lou Moret. And now, to the memory of Greg Goosen, Damas y caballeros, ¿están listos? Are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with gold, officially weighing in at 149.5 pounds. 47 professional fights, 41 victories, including 60 knockouts with 4 defeats and 2 draws. From Manchester, England, the former IBO world champion and reigning European light middleweight champion, the WBC number 5.
Contender, it is Billy Joe Saunders.
And fighting out of the red corner, wearing purple, official weight 151 3/4 pounds. 36 fights as a professional, 35 victories, including 26 knockouts with 1 draw. Damas y caballeros de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the WBC silver belt champion and number 1 ranked contender in the world, the undefeated Saul Canelo
Good luck.
That's a stare down. When Wilfred Benitez won the junior welterweight title at 17, he had to beat the great Antonio Cervantes. Fernando Vargas, when he won a belt at the age of 20, had to beat the accomplished Yuri Boy Canelo.
Super featherweight champion of the world, defeating Wilson Palacio. Barry, this could be a special fight.
I'm expecting just a tremendous fight. We've been looking for this since it's been announced and postponed and announced. Postponed is finally happening, and I think it's going to be a mini classic.
Could be a lot more than just puncher against boxer. As you see physically, Andy Lee, significantly the bigger man, huge for a middleweight, stands some 6'2". Billy Joe Saunders, a slick mover, very talented boxer. Andy Lee, power in both hands. He says he has a God-given right hand, and I tell you what, he's got a lot of support in this arena.
And Andy Lee also a better boxer than what anyone gives him credit for. Though in this scenario, obviously Billy Joe is the master boxer. You know, he's so skillful, is Billy Joe. They're both obviously going to be very tentative in the early rounds.
It'll be interesting to see who takes the initial advantage. Lee has the reach advantage by a good 2 or 3 inches. Saunders maybe has more speed, like that left hand, only a glancing blow.
It's all about discipline for Billy Joe Saunders. Not to overreach with the shots, keep that boxing together. Don't decide they want to trade with Andy Lee. And for Lee, he's got to use all of that experience that he has, put pressure on as the fight goes on, put pressure on Billy Joe, make him work harder than he wants to.
Lee has been preparing here in the UK. Billy Joe Saunders spent some 6 or 7 weeks of his preparation time over in Spain. Very experienced corners, both of them, and a quiet opening to this fight. Tentative. Good fast hands from Lee.
Again, but just like Billy Joe's left hand, just a glancing blow again. Both landing with jabs as well.
Little between them in this opening stanza.
Neither person wants to make a mistake. That's why no one's taking the initiative yet. No one wants to get punished for making that mistake.
And a lot of respect between these two in the build-up. No trash talking. Oh, a lovely uppercut from Billy Joe Saunders. Cracking right hand. Probably the punch of the round. Maybe the only meaningful punch of the round.
So his reflexes are so fast, Billy Joe Saunders. Just a tiny little mistake from Andy Lee, and Billy makes him pay. And that being the only real significant punch of the round, you have to give that round to Billy Joe Saunders.
Adam Booth, trainer of Andy Lee.
Fucking up his distance, right? Don't chase the rounds. Don't chase the rounds because he's going to burn his head out when you don't give him success. All right? Don't give him nothing. But just let them relax, take that bruise, and then keep.
Well, here's the big punch. There.
Andy just dipping to his left, but with not with his hands up, no defence. And Bill, like I said, Billy's so fast reflexes, just seeing a little bit of an opening there.
More of a hook than an uppercut.
Yeah, good shot, wasn't it, as well? And that was the only punch.
Don't give him any success. And just put it in front of him.
Corners, 10 seconds.
So a good start from Billy Joe Saunders. Maybe that one big shot maybe did enough to win him the round. 3 British judges here. This second defence of the title for Andy Lee. A spectacular win against Matt Koroboth, and then defended against Peter Quillen. But a draw there after twice being down. Had Quillen down. And here looking to hang on to the title. So long trained, and a mentor was Emmanuel Stewart with Andy Lee. Now with Adam Booth, Billy Joe Saunders throughout his career with Jimmy and Mark Tibbs. Again, tentative and respectful in this second round.
Well, look what happened the last round. Just one little mistake from Andy Lee, and it wasn't a big mistake, just dipping too far over to his left, and he had to pay for it. Good body shot there from Billy Joe. Again, I think it looks like at the moment it's going to be down to who makes the little mistakes rather than who takes the initiative just yet.
Saunders can be a sharp puncher. Remember that 2-round blowout of the highly rated Australian Jared Fletcher.
who went on to do better things after Billy beat him, let's be honest. Good from Andy Lee there, left hand.
Saunders, who has the previous record of having faded a little in the closing stages of fights, and those who support Andy Lee in this one believe that their man will be the stronger the further it goes. There's a good left hand from Lee, maybe his best punch so far. Back comes Saunders. Saunders has said he'll simply be too busy for Andy Lee. Andy Lee says, how do I lose? There's no way I can lose. Whatever happens, sooner or later, I'll get to him.
Well, Andy Lee was saying that Billy starts fast, he starts slow and finishes fast, so they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. But it's been a more controlled from both. No one wanted to take any risks as yet.
Best win on Saunders' career might have been his points victory back end of last year against Chris Eubank Jr. On that occasion, he absolutely dominated the early stages. Good right-hand lead from Saunders right on the bell. And again, the smile from Andy Lee.
Es un rival muy fuerte que sabe. Yo creo que la gente que criticaba que era un mal rival aquí se dio cuenta, ¿no? Es un gran rival que tiene experiencia. Le golpeaba y me amarraba.
He's a good rival, and the people had criticized him, but he showed he's a true rival. He would hurt me, he would hold on to me, and he would give me some troubles, but he's a rival with a great experience.
As usual, a lot of people showed up for a Canelo Alvarez fight. But not only that, they seemed to get very loud when there was action. Why do you think that is?
Sí, así es. Aquí a toda la gente quiero agradecerle su apoyo, siempre me han apoyado muy bien.
I want to thank all the people that have supported me.
Yo les dije que les iba a pagar con buenas peleas, con títulos mundiales, y este es mi primer sueño. Faltan muchos y son para todos ustedes.
I told them that I would give them world championships, I would give them great fights, and this is my first world championship, and this is for you.
But why the connection with you? You seem to have a special connection with the fans and they to you. Why?
No lo sé. Estoy muy agradecido con Dios por haberme dado esto, esta gente tan linda que me apoya mucho. Estoy muy agradecido con Dios, con toda la gente y pues voy a seguir dándoles muchas grandes peleas.
I don't know why, but I thank God, I thank the people, and I thank the people for coming out, and I'm going to give them much more and much better fights.
Okay, you have a belt now. It's a promotional tool for bigger fights. Are you ready for bigger fights? When can we expect you taking on the stars of the division?
Como les acabo de decir, este es mi primer sueño. Vienen las grandes, quiero los mejores y voy a ser el próximo gran mexicano que venga a todos.
As I said, this is my dreams. This is the first one of many more will come, and I will have more fights with the big names, and I will be one of the big names for Mexico.
Are you a year away from that point? 6 months, 18 months, you're still very young.
No lo sabemos, hay que esperar unas 2 peleas más, porque no nomás quiero pelear, sino quiero ir a ganar, y eso estoy haciendo ahorita, ¿no? Preparándome para ganarle a los mejores, voy en el camino.
We don't know, we've got to wait a bit, maybe 2 more fights, but that's what we need to do. We need to prepare to get better fights and prepare to have the bigger fights.
Thanks, Canelo.
Gracias a toda la gente, y nada más quiero decir que ¡viva México!
Matthew Hatton, as game as they come. You seem to be fighting to win the whole way, even though it looked like you had no shot. Why?
Well, you know, I'm a fighter through and through, and I really do think I've shared the ring there with a great fighter. You know, Canelo, fantastic fighter. But, you know, when you get the opportunity to challenge for a world title, you've got to take it. But nothing I seemed to do made an impression on him, so I'm going to move back down to welterweight. I mean, he never hurt me in the fight. You know, he's got a good variety, fantastic fighter. Wish him all the best in his career. And I move back down to welterweight and look for a world title opportunity there.
Can you give us a scouting report on Alvarez? He seemed to be heavy-handed. What do you think of his skills? Tell us what it's like to be in there with him.
Yeah, you know, I give him the full respect. He's got a good variety of shots. He's an intelligent fighter. He's a strong fighter. I just think he was just too big in there tonight. You know, I'm not too sure what the weight difference was on the night. I take nothing away from him. He's the better fighter. I moved back down to my natural weight division and look for a world title opportunity there.
Thanks for putting up a great fight, Matthew. Bob.
All right, thank you very much, Max. Matthew Hatton, very classy in defeat. He's going to move back down to 147. We posed the question to you at the beginning of this main event. Does Alvarez have the goods to be great from a fighting standpoint? What's your impression after seeing him live and in person?
Well, it still has a little ways to go. However, I do think this. I think that God has definitely blessed this kid, and he definitely knows this. Because when God gives you a blessing that you can't understand, which is the way he got all these people following him already, it's something beyond his understanding, my understanding, your understanding. So God is definitely with this kid. He's given him a lot of talent to work with. Now we have to see where he goes from here. Can he make that leap yet to be great? I don't know.
Well, the one interesting part about it too, Roy, is the fact that he gets hit just enough, as he did by Hatton tonight, that's going to make it exciting along the way. Also earlier tonight, Adrian Broner won a unanimous decision victory against Daniel Ponce de Leon in a fight probably a little closer than one of the judges' scorecards had it. Max Kellerman rejoins us here at ringside. Your overall impressions of what you saw here tonight, especially from Canelo?
The fans don't just turn out for him, they love him. And boxing fans, I think, generally are looking for something. We want something, and you could feel it whenever the action would heat up, the desire for him to give them something, and he does give them something to root for. And I think he's going to give us things to root for in the not-too-distant future. Win, lose, or draw, he looks to be an exciting fighter.